So we're gonna start with Cookery. Now Cookery isn't necessarily a very strict recipe. It's like a type of food. It's basically when you cook grains, because the central part of Ayurvedic cooking, if you like, is the grains and pulses, because that's where you're going to get your protein from, really. You know, because Ayurvedic cooking, it isn't strictly vegetarian, but it's fairly strictly vegetarian sort of thing. I mean, I'm a bit biased because I'm really strictly vegetarian, so I don't want to, but it's pretty vegetarian. So to get your protein, you're really looking at nice dishes with pulses in. So Cookery is, it's like it covers, it can be lentils and rice, or can be, you can do it with split peas, you know, and this time I'm doing it with mung beans. So that's beautiful mung bean there. I doubt if you can see it, I can hardly see it, but and these are whole mung beans. Don't know if you can see that. I'll just come round. That I've soaked.
Oh,
yeah, you can brilliant. Sprout them is a really good way to get your protein from pulses. It's very digestible. So, and then I'm cooking that with brown rice. So it's a very healthy type of Cookery. I've got other Cookeries on my blog. That's like a catchphrase through there. You'll be hearing that quite. You'll be saying, "Gosh," and so we're going to start with that anyway. And we're also going to do my 6 spice taste mix, which is here. I'll show you that in a minute. And that's like, because what's important, we're going to talk about it in a minute, is the 6 tastes. Are you all familiar with the 6 Ayurvedic tastes sort of thing? Is anyone not familiar? Oh, that's good. Right, other people said, yeah, we all know that already. You say, oh no, that's awful. So it's good you don't know it. So the tastes have a different effect on each of the doshas. So we're going to just introduce it today about the taste and how it affects you. And but what is important, like a good yoga session should balance all the dosha types. Everyone should go into a good yoga session, whether you're vata imbalance, pitta imbalance, kapha, and come out the other end feeling better in a good, if you've got a well-balanced yoga session. Same with a meal. It should be almost tridoshic, if you like. That's the ideal thing, where it's not so spicy or so rich that it's going to adversely affect anyone. But it should contain the 6 tastes. Even like you got pungent, which is quite hot and fiery, even if you're very pitta, you just want to activate that taste, because it actually does something in the body. Like herbal medicine, a lot of it's about bitter medicine, because a bitter, it's not just the medicine, the chemicals in it, it's the taste as well that has an effect on the body. So these 6 tastes, like Mansuk yesterday was talking about the different fires in your body, actually that taste affects something in your body, even sweet taste. Some of them have got like bad press recently, like sweet taste and salty taste, but you sort of still need them in the right way. So we're going to start off with the Cookery. Is that okay? Because we need to get that on the go. So I'm proving that men can sort of multitask a bit. Okay, so we're going to start off with the Cookery. So we're going to start off with a beautiful spice mix. Okay, so with cooking, your best thing is to use ghee or coconut oil. Apart from Joanna wouldn't use that one. Because they're saturated fat, you can see at room temperature they're still quite solid. That means they're more heat stable. They're not going to get affected by heat so much. So they're better to cook with. So Joanna can enjoy it. We're going to use coconut oil. We're going to do one thing with ghee, but you'll have to forgive us. Yeah, that. So we start off with some coconut oil. And on my blog and everything, I'll say it again, there's lots of recipes. But the thing is, once you've got a few good techniques and you're in tune with your own self, if you like, you can start being what I call an intuitive cook. You know, not go mad and mix really weird things together. But you can be more of like I was on Friday, when I was in here making the meal just before you all arrived. And then I had a basic, I knew what I was going to do, but sort of letting the spices talk to me a little bit. And that's the best way to do it. If any of you teach yoga, when I teach yoga, I have a plan ready what I'm going to do, the yoga class. But sometimes in the middle of class, suddenly I get a feeling I should do this posture, I should do this movement. So I do it if I follow it, and then actually the whole thing flows much better. It's the same with cooking. So I was in there the other day and I made that moong dal thing. It's a bad memory for Joanna because it had ghee in it or something. Poor thing, okay? But I just had the idea of putting some onion seeds in. I just saw them there and I thought, yeah, it's just sort of, and I put them in. And really, so your best guide is the same with everything you do. Even your yoga is using once you get in tune with your own intuition. That's what Ayurveda helps you with when you start doing the daily practices that Shona's been talking about. And you start then making the right decisions. You know when you're unbalanced, you start making the wrong decisions. If you're imbalanced pitta, you start going for a coffee and alcohol. If you're whatever imbalance you have, if you're imbalanced kapha, then you go, oh, I'm going to eat more stodgy food and, not exercise. But once you start following the Ayurvedic lifestyle, which doesn't mean totally change, it's things we do anyway, we go in the bathroom anyway to wash, so we just do it a bit differently. We're going to eat anyway, so we just do it a bit differently. You start then making the right decision, and even in the end, you start intuitively thinking, oh, I must do this, or So in that, I'm going to do some spices, just roast them a bit. So I've got some cardamom and peppercorn. And cardamom, are you all right? Can you hear it at the back okay? Yeah. Cardamom is like the queen of spices. In the old days, people went mad over these spices. There was conflict over spices. So, and peppercorn was like, heard of peppercorn rent. It was so precious. It was more precious than gold or something almost. So it's used as money. It was only when chilies came in, it was a cheap alternative to peppers. That's why chilies actually came from South America, as you probably know. And it just became a cheap alternative. But before that, peppers were so valuable. And that's why you have pepper on your table, because it's a sign of wealth, if you could put pepper on your table. Okay, so in there we got the cardamom and, oops, just turn it down a bit. Cardamom, peppercorn, oops, are you guys all right there? Sorry, we are insured, but yeah. And cinnamon stick, bay leaf, and you got some cumin seeds as well. Just put in some cumin seeds and some fennel I'm going to put in there as well. So I'll put that on, keep you guys safe there. It's just the smell of it, yeah. So we're just letting it, I don't want to get it overcooked. So I'm just going to put it here. Don't do this at home, just put it on somewhere.
Did you soak the beans first?
Yeah, I've soaked the beans first.
On afterwards, so you can
The beans are still there, I haven't touched them yet.
Oh.
Yeah, so I'm just going to put some fennel in there as well. Wonderful, so I'm just letting that roast a little bit. Okay, and then, so it's a lovely, isn't it? Lovely smell there. Let that cool down a little bit, hopefully. Don't want it to overcook. That's a problem. And then I'm going to do a wonderful mix now that goes with it. So I got in trouble this morning because I packed the blender. I got really organised early in the morning. Packed the blender and everything, got it all clean. And then my wife comes down, she goes, where's the blender? I want it for, do a nice smoothie. So it's all packed up. So we got some coconut. Now this is soaked coconut. And this actually, I'm going to use it to make a nice sort of sauce. Now you can see everything is really carefully measured as I do all this. Okay, and then we're going to put in, so this just like makes a sort of paste, some garlic. And it's, no, that's desiccated, I just soaked it. yeah, soaked it in some water just to sort of get it going a bit. And then I got some garlic, fresh garlic, lovely. Yeah, well, it's not all for you, so it goes in a great big. And also, we're going to talk about it in a minute, but there are certain rules around cooking. So Shona's quite strict. I'm not quite as strict, but there are things that mitigate it. So garlic is very strong. Like if you have raw garlic and you're very pitta, if you want to have a really big argument and you're feeling like you want to have an argument, just go for the raw garlic and really get your energy going. But as you cook it, it becomes like, it mellows quite a lot. So in Ayurveda, you can't say exactly what, you could say celery is not very good for vata, but potatoes maybe is not too good for kapha. But there's a thing called mitigation. It's like when you do something wrong, isn't it? And you get in trouble with their law or something like that. It's never happened to me, but well, it has it. Then they go, what's the mitigation? And you say the reasons why, like my friend was caught speeding and his wife was pregnant, you see, not that, only about halfway. So he tried to make out, we're rushing to the hospital sort of thing. So there's like mitigation. In cooking, it's the same. So you can say garlic is going to affect your pitta, but if we cook it and do certain things with it, it's not going to have the same effect. And ginger, right, okay. Bit of ginger in there as well. Okay, is that all right, folks? And then I would normally put some coriander in it, but what's happened is there's someone who's allergic to coriander, not here, but later on. So I don't want to whisk it into the food for I want to be able to sleep at night. So okay, we're just going to put some chives in there as well. So just chop them roughly a little bit. Then we're going to make, hopefully, oh yeah, thanks a lot. Cooking's great when you got help. It's brilliant, isn't it? So, okay, you've got some lovely chives in there. And then you just want to add a bit of water, or, yeah, I'm going to add some stock to that. This is a vegan stock. So I want to make a wonderful paste out of that. How are we doing for time, folks? Yeah. Come on, we need to get that kitchery on. It's going to be a race again. If not, if any of you have to leave before the kitchery is ready, just phone back. We can just tell you what it's like as you're travelling. Right, okay. Yeah, it is, yeah, it's similar. Yeah, they pinched it off my blog probably. So we're just going to... It's great, isn't it? And we can thank Samia for this because she missed her smoothie, so we could do this today, which is really, yeah. Okay, that's wonderful. Right, so we've got this lovely paste, and we're just going to put that back. Oops. Nearly. Stand back, folks. Put that wonderful paste in with here. So there's all sorts of ways you can do it. You can just make a really right, we got that. The other thing I'm going to put in, I can see now why I didn't give you the recipe as well, because there's something else I'm supposed to put in. Asafoetida. Okay, asafoetida is like magic. It really strengthens your agni. They talked about agni, your digestive fire. So agni is Sanskrit for fire. So they say agni is the digestive fire. This really strengthens the digestive fire. So there's two ways of dealing with food. One is being really careful what you eat. The other way is strengthening your digestive fire so much that it just obliterates everything. So we're going to put a little bit of, you don't need much. This is asafoetida. Asafoetida or hing. You only get it from like an Indian shop.
Is it a spice?
Huh?
A spice?
Yeah, it's actually a resin from a tree. I need a little turmeric, some turmeric there as well. Yeah. Just a wee bit of turmeric. Hing, H-I-N-G. A little bit of turmeric. Now the turmeric gives it a wonderful colour, really brightens up the colour, but also it's astringent, has all sorts of wonderful medicinal qualities. It's not so good for your like carpet and that sort of thing. Okay, so we're just going to cook that together to make a lovely sort of mix. Okay, so I'll show you that's all cooking away now. So I'm just basically cooking everything that's in there. The garlic, you can smell it. It's wonderful little. So I'm making a sort of paste. And there's no strict rules. You can just make your own paste, really. Just be adventurous. And the main thing is put your nice feelings into it all. So we're going to let that cook for a little while. And sometimes I just make a khichdi that's very, very simple. It just has some lentils and rice, and I put a bit of bouillon in, a little bit of turmeric. Because what we're going to do next is a magic spice mix that just brings everything to life. So, great. So we got the sweet taste, okay? Sweet taste. Don't want to go too much into it. But sweet taste has the element of earth and water, Ayurvedically. So earth and water is what? Who knows what dosha does that represent? Earth, kapha. So if you eat a lot of sweet stuff, it's going to increase your kapha. And I don't mean just sugary sweet. It's even carbohydrate. So if you're kapha, you really love your bread and butter and jam and cakes, and you just love that. You know, sweet food is sweet, carbohydrates are like sweet. So it's like heavy, grounding, comfort food. And that's why it's comfort food, because it's very grounding. That carbohydrate, like rice pudding or something, or really nice bread and jam and butter, it's very grounding. So it can be, you know, to a certain extent, it can help balance. Sweet can help balance the other two, because it doesn't have any fire or air in it. It's not going to add to the fire and air, so it helps balance. So it increases kapha and then decreases the other two in proportion. Is that okay? Does that make... So the sweet taste we're going to put in the spice mix is this wonderful jaggery sugar. Now sugar is, you know, too much sugar isn't good for you, obviously. Whoops, right, okay. So, it's alright if I come back to that in a minute, because I've got this ready now. We'll put the khichdi on. We don't want to delay too much with the khichdi, otherwise. But that's the other thing, the longer you cook it. So pulses, you know, any sort of pulse like lentil or I cook it for at least an hour, sometimes 2 hours. I was in India, with the chefs there in the kitchen, and they cook it slowly overnight on this like real fire. So in the evening they have this, it's all from like logs, it's real fire, great big burner, and it's going, and then they just let it die down, and overnight they put the lentils just to cook very slowly overnight, because the longer you cook them, the more digestible they become. So at least an hour, if not, sometimes I just keep it going 2 hours, you know, and it just, because the longer it cooks, the more the carbohydrate break, the sweeter it becomes, sort of thing. Yeah. Is that okay? So we're just gonna mix all that together now. Okay, so a bit of stock. Right, this is a vegan stock. So I'm all really organised vegan here. This is, you know, so, gosh, right, yeah. Yeah, great. Okay. So just add the stock to that, get it all mixed in. And then we're going to cook this in with the mung beans. That's wonderful. Look at that, lovely. All goes in there with the mung beans. And I just don't want to lose any of that wonderful mixture there. It does stick to the pan a little bit. It's gorgeous, isn't it? And the more you're actually, the other thing we're going to talk about in a minute is I'm adding something of me into this. Not like hair and things like that. I mean, it could be, I hope not. No, it won't be, definitely. It's all stuck. I've got special glue on it. So, I don't mean that, you know. I mean, you know, I'm having some of my energy to it as well, which is going in. So, okay, so that's wonderful. A bit more water. Now the rice is going to absorb water. So I want to add quite a lot of water to that. Now Cookery isn't difficult to cook. It's like a porridge. So you can add more water to it later if you need to. And if you added too much, you just take the lid off and let it evaporate a bit. So we're going to put that on. Right, okay. We better put that, if you could look after that on the stove and get it quite high and stir it, and then we're going to get that cooked. We're talking about the taste, weren't we? So we got this taste, sweet. Now jaggery, so sugar, the main problem with sugar, I'm not suggesting you have too much of this because it has got a lot of sugar in it, but the main problem is that it's refined, so all the nutrients that normally with the sugar are taken away, and that's the main thing that makes it harmful, is you're having like all this sugar but none of the nutrients nature had. But jaggery, that's it, that's how it comes originally. It's a sugarcane juice, or sometimes they use palm juice, you know, a sugary juice, and they just boil it in these great big vats in India. You see it in the field, they actually cut the sugarcane there, then they have a machine, just runs through this like crushing machine, all the sugarcane, like a big shredder type thing. And then the juice comes out, and then straight away in the field, they boil it down, these great big like pots that are like massive, like this, but like the size as wide as this room. It's just huge. And they boil it all down until it turns into like a solid like that, and that is the jaggery. And this is the sugar, they've done a sort of ground version. So it has everything in there that came out of the plant. So this is not saying you can now eat as much of this as you want to and just put it on everything, on your organic cornflakes, just a big shovel. But it does mitigate it quite a lot. And for this, we're just going for the sweet taste. You know, so we're between all of us, well, less than that, you know, this gets spread out. So that's a sweet taste. Okay, there, great. So I just put this out of the way, otherwise I always end up forgetting which ones I've done and haven't. So we got the sweet taste. Okay, the other sweet taste I got is some fennel. Fennels. So in Ayurveda, your first medicine is your kitchen, really. You know, where do you get your medicines from? And fennel is such a lot of the best herbal medicines, which is good, are things you could probably grow in your garden, you know. And actually the herbalists say that, you know, around where you live, if you let the weeds grow, sometimes it's the herbs you need. So I did that around my house, and I got all this deadly nightshade growing, so I don't know what the universe is trying to tell me, but that's fennel powder. It's ground. So I'm doing this all ground. If you want to do it fresh, you can. You just get a grinder and you can do it all fresh. We're doing fenugreek. I've got ground. That's a really hard seed, so you need a really good grinder. So we got the fennel. So fennel is such a beautiful therapeutic herb. It really, if you've got vata digestion, just chew fennel seeds. That's what we do in India, call it mukvas. You have a little bowl and you chew some fennel, and it really helps calm down your digestion. Yes, that's really good. So everything is equal apart from the fennel, which is more of that. So it's 3 lots of fennel. So that's another sweet taste. Okay, the next one, I've got some cardamom. Cardamom again, that's the cardamom pods. Cardamom pods, show you them. Are you all familiar with cardamom? Anyone not familiar? I'll show you anyway, because it's just, but... Yeah, I better have my coffee now. Just mitigate it. Hang on a sec. So there, we got the cardamom. Okay, fantastic. So this can be our secret. Okay, we've got some cardamom there. Wonderful. Okay, just check it is cardamom. Yeah, that's it. bit in my coffee. There you go, make it all healthy. Oh, lovely. Right, okay. So that goes over here.
So did you put more in the spice mix? Only
Yeah, everything's equal apart from the fennel, which has 3 lots. Okay, I think that's all the sweet ones now. So we got that sweet. So the next thing is a sour taste. Sour taste, lemon, citrus, tamarind, that sort of thing. So sour taste has earth in it and fire, has fire in it. So sour, to a certain extent, is going to increase kapha and it's going to increase pitta. But again, there's no air in it. So sour taste is quite good if you're too vata. So lemon juice is really good to put on your salad or something like that. It sort of mitigates the effect. Because cold food isn't so good if you're vata, because vata's cold. And also kapha's cold. So you can tell in a room, you know what I mean? Some people are in a room, some people are too hot and some people are too cold. So one person's turning up the heating at one end, the other person's opening the window. So if you're a person who's hot in a room, you've got a lot of pitta in there, so you're going to feel hot. So in terms of your food, you're better off if you're vata or kapha having warm food. But you can mitigate it. So if you have your salad by putting lemon juice on, it helps. And we're going to show you that in a minute as well. Yeah, so the sour is the mango powder. Again, that's a little bit of a specialist. Whoops, I'm mixing my drinks here. I've got my mint tea here. So I'm just working with doshas as they go on. If I can get a bit high, I have some mint tea. Ah, yeah, it's brought me down again now. So that's mango powder. We'll pass it around in a minute, but it's very sour because it's not made from sweet mangoes. They make it from green mangoes that's sour. So that's your sour taste. So we could pass that round. I'm just gonna, it's very sour. Pass that around if you want. Is that okay? So far we got the sweet and we got the sour. Salty. Again, salty is water and fire. Is that okay? When you put salt on a flame, you notice how it flares up and spits. So say it's got the water and fire in it. So again, it's going to affect kapha and it's going to affect pitta. But salty, the salty taste is actually grounding for vata. So we're not saying you eat a lot of very salty food, like processed food and put more salt and all that. But you can, when you add it to your stews and your kitchery, it does help with the grounding. So that's a salty taste.
is the Himalayan salt better?
Yeah, well the Himalayan salt's really good. Yeah, because it has, and see, this is sea salt. Yeah, so because it has other minerals in as well. But the Himalayan salt's beautiful, has a lot of iron in it, and it's really, really good. So you all okay so far? Yeah, that salty, bitter. Okay, bitter taste. So the bitter taste is really lacking from our diet. And what you can do as well before you eat is eat a bit of dandelion leaves or something like that. So we do in Italy. You go there, they give you a big bowl of dandelion leaves and you can eat that. The bitter taste really stimulates your liver. But too much bitter is made from air and space. So what's bitter going to affect? What's it going to increase? Someone can tell me. It's got air and space in it. It's going to increase vata. So too much bitter food. And you've got to watch that because a lot of vata people, they get really enthusiastic. I'm going to go on this raw food diet. I've just read about it. It's so good. I'm going to have lots of bitter foods. It may not be the best thing for them. But bitter food's really good for if you've got too much pitta. Because it really, you know, really helps break up the sort of liver type feeling. So, okay. We got some bitter there. So we're getting through it now. Fenugreek that was. Right, now we got the pungent things. Pungent is hot. So hot is made from fire and air. So what's pungent going to affect? Pitta, and it's got air in it as well. So too much hot food is going to affect Vata and Pitta. But it's actually quite good for if you're too kapha, a little bit of spicy food can help break up the kapha a little bit. So for that we got some ginger, which is almost, I mean, it's one of the most wonderful things. Everyone, it's good for Vata, it's good for everyone. It's sort of a mild, pungent one. Okay, got ginger, and we got pepper, beautiful pepper. And we got some cumin as well, a little bit of cumin powder. Again, it's a little bit pungent. Here you go. Yeah, that's quite mild. So they're quite tridoshic as well, you can use them. And okay, is that right? And then the final one. Yeah, cumin powder. Then we got some turmeric. Astringent is more a sensation than a taste. So it's like that sort of dry, if you get a banana, so I put banana there, not very ripe banana, and just have the, you know, the inside of the peel, it just dry on your tongue, isn't it? It's that sensation. So you get that with turmeric as well, it's slightly astringent. And the mango powder. So the mango powder is doing two things. Okay, so that's the spice mix, wonderful. Huh?
What are you putting in now?
Turmeric. So I put in turmeric, put in cumin.
What are the elements for that?
Yeah, okay. Astringent, good question. Astringent has air in it and earth. So what's it going to affect? Has air and earth. Kapha. So that's why if you're too Vata, you have trouble with astringent foods. Astringent foods also like broccoli, cabbage, that sort of thing. So it doesn't mean you can't eat it, but you have to cook it well and cook it properly. So Vata people aren't so good with astringent foods because it's got a lot of air in it. So, and pulses are slightly astringent, so you need to cook them well. Is that okay? You're not all confused, are you? So, no. So, to make it quicker, I'm going to just taste it for you. No, you can. I just check it's all right. It always comes out different. Don't know why, even though it's the same recipe all the time. So I'm just going to try it. So delicious. So I'll pass that round. You can all have a little taste anyway. You okay, folks? So we're going to do a bit more cooking in a minute. So food, you know, Ayurveda can either be the same food for different people, can have different effects. So garlic could be brilliant medicine for someone. You know, such a great medicine, garlic. But if you give it the wrong time, so what right time for the right person, it really helped them. For the wrong time, you know, won't be so good for them. So every food can be like that, depending on the person and the time of day and all that sort of thing. So coffee could be like the worst thing for, it's probably not too good for me at the moment, but it could be the worst thing for anyone. But at the right time, it could be like a medicine. So everything can be like that, really. So as I said, potatoes, in Ayurveda, they don't really like nightshades that much, not seen as a that contains potato. So Barbara once said to me, oh, someone's coming and they're allergic to, they'd said nightshade, and she said they're allergic to deadly nightshade. So I said, well, I think we're all allergic to deadly nightshade. So when I stayed, we did the Panch Karma at the Ayurvedic in the Nilgiri Hills. They didn't use potatoes because they're not, you know, seen as brilliant Ayurvedic food. But if you put pepper on them, that helps break up the kapha, because potatoes are very kapha type food. Did you all taste the spice mix? Yeah. Now the way you use it on the table like salt. So it's like magic powder. So it makes anything healthy sort of thing. Yeah, ideally, almost anything. So basically it all depends. I can't go into it too much. On the course we can look at it in a lot more detail when we do that. But basically every food can have its place in the right way. You all okay so far? Right, so the next thing is, we're talking about yesterday, was the wonderful 3 elements of the cooking, isn't it? So we got what you eat, which is really important. What you eat is so important. So today we got these lovely ingredients, lovely things that come from the earth, all the spices and all the foods that come from the earth. What dosha you are as well. That affects what you eat. What mixtures you use. What we try and do in Ayurveda is not have too many mixtures. So one thing Shona's probably mentioned, or Katrina, is fruit. Try and eat fruit separate from the rest of what you eat. So we're going to have a fruit now, because I know you haven't eaten them for the last hour. I've just watched you, and I know you're not going to eat for at least an hour or so. Well, this lot, no, it'll be less than that. So we can eat fruit now, but it's not so good. One of the mixtures is eat fruit with your other food, because it sort of doesn't digest in the same way. So to do a mixture, so we try and avoid too many mixtures, like having beans and dairy and eggs and all in one mixture, and tend not to put too many nightshade things in. So there's a lot more mixed up thing is, the more difficult it's going to be to digest. So we keep the food quite simple really, unless you've got an extra strong pitta digestion, and then you can, as I say, having it more vegetarian style, a lot of vegetarian food, because meat has a lot of, we talked about ama, toxins, it has a lot of ama in it from the animals, so you're just eating that really. And the seasons is going to affect it as well. So that's one leg of your, and we tend to just focus on this, but actually the other 2 legs, can you see that's like a stool? Can you, yeah. It's very good, isn't it? Yeah. I did that last night. I stayed up past my Ayurvedic bedtime last night to do that. It's really... Shona rang me up, says, "Are you still up?" I said, "No, I wasn't really up. I just got up to answer the phone. Are you up then?" Just checking for us. But, okay, the other leg that's just as important, in my opinion, is how you eat it. And the first thing is, the most healing thing is appreciation. That's the best thing, appreciation, and ultimately love. Love's the greatest healing emotion. It's the thing that connects us all, isn't it really? Regularity, to eat at a regular time. Your body has a rhythm. To eat at a regular time, and at the Ayurvedic time, like we said, at midday. Talk about yesterday, wasn't it? Around midday. Going to miss that slightly, but in the morning, and not too much in the evening. So the timing's important. The amount is important. And what I found when I was on the Ayurveda, the doctor said to me, just try and eat more slowly, because he could see I ate really fast, like that. And then I ate too much, because I used to just shovel it in. It was like fuel, just shoveling in the food. Then he said, eat really slowly and taste the different flavours and chew it. And as part of the cooking happens in your mouth. When you have that khichdi, as you chew it, the rice becomes sweeter. It actually carries on cooking like the amylase in your mouth. So eating very slowly, and that really... And now I found I'm eating about half as much, funnily enough. Because what happens when you eat fast is, you want to have a certain experience when you eat. So you want it to last a certain amount of time, just to enjoy it. But also the sort of full reaction doesn't come in that quickly. So I don't know if you had that experience. You eat something, you don't feel full. And then 5 minutes later you feel full. When you eat slowly... So I found I'm eating much less. And that really helps. The amount is important. If you can have the most wonderful food, if you eat too much of it, they say the stomach, when you've eaten, it should only be half full. And we generally eat until the stomach's totally full. And, that can do as much harm as the type of food you're eating. Is that okay with that? That's the other. Then the final leg, which I got here, which is slightly hidden, because most people don't know about it, is how it's prepared. So don't underestimate cooking as a chore. It's not something, it is something you're creating a whole wealth of, and you're working with the living elements of nature. It's like your hospital. This is your, medicine chest that's going to keep you and the people you care for, healthy and happy and, emotionally as well. So the intention, the most important thing is intention is very, very powerful. That's the most, just what you intend it to be just makes a difference. Because we can't always be happy, you know, we can't. So when I start cooking, I just take a minute or two, I just have the intention, right, I want to make a really nice meal, and then that goes through whatever I'm doing. Then I'll just do something like, have you done the alternate nostril breathing? Did you do that this weekend at all? Or, does anyone not know alternate nostril breathing? You'll know it, sort of thing. Yeah, you can't do it if you've got high blood pressure, by the way. You just breathe in through one nose. It's very balancing. So if you want to balance yourself quickly, pranayama prana is a breath. Fastest way to change the way you're feeling. And put love into it. Love is the most beautiful ingredient you can put in. We're very lucky, actually, that we can get all these foods. You know, 100 years ago or 50, you couldn't get all these things. Now we can get it so easily. Anything we want. It wasn't that long ago. You just had to make what was there. You know, in winter you had swede and carrots and a few things. Then strawberries would come in and a few other vegetables. Now we can get whatever we want. We're so lucky as well. The knowledge you're putting into it. Because we were talking yesterday, how powerful is the thoughts you put into food. It's very powerful, very, very powerful. It is powerful. And sometimes you can use that if you're in a situation where you can't get the right food. You might be travelling. So you might have to eat a sandwich, something you don't particularly want to eat. But if you think, okay, I'm really grateful I got this anyway, and it will nurture me, and at least it'll get down to some of my tissues or whatever, that is a powerful thought. But when you combine the two, when you combine all of these, it's a great, becomes even more than each single one. And finally, it's your intuition that comes in. So I'm at the stage, because I've been doing it a long time, that, just the intuition comes in really, what is really going to be good. So we talked about it quite a lot. So now we're going to do it. So you can get a little reward, okay? Well, I get the next. Again, we do where we can. It is a matter of supply. But if you can get organic and you got the finance, it is worth spending that bit extra. And Okay, so are you all right with that? And I did want to show you one last thing, well, it's not quite, is how cooking itself balances you Ayurvedically. Because we went out into nature and we're on the earth and we had the air. Same when you're cooking. You got the flame here. That balances. If you're not, especially if you're cooking, not the nice, the flame is affecting your pitta. If you haven't got enough, it'll help it. If you've got too much, you'll balance it. You've got water going on. You've got steam and smells, so the air. And the beautiful vegetables themselves are the product of the earth. So cooking itself is, I actually find for me, is something very therapeutic when I come in and cook. I actually almost need to do it a few times a week. If I don't do it for a few weeks, I become quite difficult to... I'm fairly difficult anyway. So it starts off, it's quite difficult anyway, and then it sort of goes up from there. And it's so good. Like Samia sends me on Ayurvedic courses, go there and learn, sort of, so... So hang on, this is my, barley cup, isn't it? Got the cardamom really, that's really good. So now, okay, this is wonderful. So you can see from this, cooking itself. And the other thing about cooking is something that can't be rushed. It can be rushed a little bit, but things take their own time. You have to sort of come in tune with something and be aware of something around you. So do you all like cooking now? Are you all feeling enthusiastic? Do you want to volunteer here? And you could all help, with so lots of burnt pans and wonderful cooking experience. Okay, so right, so we got that. Oh, it's getting hot. I normally have a gas one, which is really fast, so this one's not quite as fast. But, okay, now what we're going to make, now the Cookery, is that bubbling away, is it? I just see, yeah. Make sure you stir it every now and then. Yeah. I'm so great I can be really bossy. I couldn't normally get away with that. But, because you're all here, no one can complain. They normally say, don't boss me around, you know, I'm just as important. But because you're here, I can be really unreasonable, which is, so thanks. Right, okay, so we put some ghee in there. So, sorry Joanna, you'll have to, yeah, because it's going to have yogurt in it anyway. So we might as well, while we're at it, yeah, go full on, put everything in it. What we're making now is a beautiful, so the Cookery, where we go to quite a lot, is a very almost sacred food in the north part of India. And it's something they can feed the masses with. When there wasn't much food, they'd have a lot of Cookery. And what happens when you cook the rice with the beans, there's something in the rice that helps break down the beans. So it's more than, if you have it separately, you could have rice and mung beans separate. But when you cook them together, they like intermingle and it makes it more digestible. So Cookery is a food you use as a medicine. So if someone's been very poorly or they've got weak digestion, but it's a great food for the masses. And where I go to in the north part of India, there's a place where a very special, like, holy person lived, and he just used to feed everyone. Because they say feeding people is the great saver or service. So that's what a lot of rich people in India, if they've got extra money, they give it to someone. You could go and feed lots of people. Because they know food, you know, gives life. And you give food to a hungry person, it's quite a service actually. And that's what this person did. He always gave food to whoever wanted it. And this is the food he made. So it's a Cookery and this yogurt sauce, which you can use on the vegetables. So it's very traditional. They've used for thousands of years, you know, hundreds of years at least. Traditional mixture, and they just eat that all the time. If you go there, you have it every day for lunch and breakfast, and you know, yeah. So anyway, making quite a lot, aren't we? So I put plenty of ghee in. Sorry, gentlemen. We could do a special one for you. Yeah, we could do. We could do it with coconut oil, and we could do it with coconut milk, but I just couldn't resist using some ghee. But okay, so in that we got the ghee, and now this is a wonderful thing. Oh, I do need a lid for this, by the way. Yeah. So watch out, you guys, because these are black mustard seeds. Okay. So I'm putting some of them in, and they sort of crackle and pop a little bit. Yeah, that might do. Let's just see if it works. So I want to get the ghee, whoops, nice and hot. Okay, so I want them to crackle. So I keep you safe there with that, because it all, don't look in like that, you've got to just wait for it to crackle. So
soya yogurt and
you could, yeah. Yeah, you could, yeah, coconut milk probably. The thing is with, you know, don't normally put dairy in the cooking, but because yogurt is fermented, it actually helps, what we say, mitigate it. And the spices are going to help as well. Okay, so just waiting for that to crackle. Oh yeah, it's crackling. So I put in exactly a certain amount of mustard seeds. There you go, wonderful. I don't want to burn them. And then I want some cumin seeds. Now you don't want your spices to burn. So it's cumin seeds, mustard seeds. It's really crackling. Can you hear it? Really crackling. Then I'm going to put in some asafoetida, ginger. So just wait. I want them to crackle. So it's quite an art getting used to it. If you burn them, start again. It's not worth putting good food after bad sort of thing in terms of. So that's great. Then I'm going to put in some ginger, which is going to help you if you're vata, isn't it? And kapha. Some garlic. Because I'm going to cook it, it's going to be less pungent. So this is what you can vary depending on what type you are, how much of these things you put in, or if you put them in at all. That was just ginger and garlic. Are we okay? Right, you all right so far? And some chili. Going to put some chili in. And chili is very pungent. So it's very good for kapha a little bit, not too much. Bit of that in there. It's not very strong. It'll do you good. Right. So wonderful. So once I put those ingredients in, it's going to slow it down. Now I've got some curry leaves as well. Curry leaves, wonderful ingredient. Whoops. Oh, just get rid of that, don't want it ending up in. Put in a few curry leaves. Like that. A few more. Got curry leaves. Now the next thing is asafoetida. So I put some asafoetida in there, okay? A little bit of asafoetida. Okie doke. So I just want to cook that a little bit. Is that okay? You're all right. And to that, I'm also going to add some turmeric as well. Actually, if you had had the recipes, you could have been shouting out, you know what, all the ingredients. So some turmeric, exactly a teaspoon. So turmeric's going to give it a wonderful colour. Show you that now, how it changes colour. There you go, it's wonderful. It says wonderful, here you go. Don't be modest when you're cooking, because that entails, I'm saying it's going to be really good. You're all convinced now. It may not be. Then we're putting in the wonderful yogurt. So I don't normally put a lot of dairy stuff in our cooking, because the yogurt's already fermented, and it's going to be a sour taste as well. So it's quite good for vata as well. But also I've got all sorts of things in here that are going to help. Okay, so we put wonderful yogurt. Sorry, Joanna, you really can't eat it now. If you want to. But you could do this, yeah, with coconut milk or soy yogurt even, yeah. Or coconut yogurt, does that exist? I don't know if that exists. Never heard of it. Huh?
It's too expensive.
Too expensive. But we're worth it. That's the other thing I was going to say. You know, we've all talked about our daily routine, and which is easy. We can fit it into what we're already doing. But sometimes I love to give myself a self-massage. Get my Ayurveda and spend a good hour or so. Or I have castor oil pack. And it's wonderful, castor oil pack. It's on my blog, you all know that one. And it's such a beautiful thing to do. And it's so nurturing, so I'm going to keep that sec. And it's almost like, what I used to do was think I'll do that when I have time. But I never had time. I find the weeks would go by and I hadn't done it. So you have to give it equal importance to some of the other things you're doing. And it's sort of loving yourself enough to say, yeah, I'm going to spend that hour sometime during the week and make that appointment. You have to really think, yes, you know, I'm going to do it for myself. And just say, that's what I do. I get home and I say, right, going into the bedroom, don't disturb me for at least an hour. And, you know, I do my, and you just, how I feel when I go in, how I feel afterwards, that's just massaging myself, which is, it's cheap. You can't reach everywhere, but it's, you know, but it's available, isn't it? You try and get people to make, you have to pay them a lot to do it, or, you know, try and get your partner to do it, and it's like, oh, I'm a bit tired, and why don't you do me? And you go, well, I'm tired, and it's me that wanted the massage, sort of thing. And you try all sorts of emotional blackmail. If you love me, you will. But almost, to fully love, you've got to love yourself. You can't fully love if you don't love yourself. That's where, and love is something that isn't limited. You know, some people don't like it if you love something else. They think it's subtracting from what they should have. But actually, love is the only thing that the more you give, the more you receive. So the first thing is love yourself enough to make time for the simple daily routines we said, and have, you know, I just book it in. And now every week I say, right, I'm going to, 3 o'clock or whenever, whatever I'm doing, I'm going to make time for do that, even if there's other things I could be doing. or should be doing, you know, and I know it's worth it, and I'm worth it, because when I come out, you know, I can make much better decisions, I can be much more creative, and I can be a much better person, really. So, okay, so you got your yogurt there, and I'm going to add water to that. So it's more water than yogurt. So I put in 2 of these. 3. Okay. And now traditionally they thickened it with gram flour, but I'm going to use corn flour, and you make a sauce out of that. So okay, and it'll have salt in it as well. So we just make a sauce out of that as well, which is great. So to do that, we get some corn flour. So we're just making like a white sauce almost, but this is a yogurty one. So you could use gram flour.
Would you do it in the same process?
Yeah.
Just add water to the corn flour?
Yeah, same process, yeah. Yeah. So are you all okay so far? Right, you're all okay, nearly finished. So I got 5 more minutes. Then you're free as well. Here we go. And the other thing as well, you know, never feel guilty about food either. That happened once. I did this wonderful detox weekend with, or I think it's with Shona in Mansuk, go through the diet, what you should be eating and all that. And after it, I thought, oh, we'll just go, we had this whole week, everyone was there, so we just did Iraq or something. And after it, I thought we'll have a meeting at Little Chef. We'll go there and have just have a drink, you know, coffee with cardamom, whatever, tea, and let's have a meeting. So we went there, and there's a whole group of the students there, all like chips and, you know, great big desserts, because almost like they've been deprived for free. And then first thing they did, it's only 2 miles down the road. First thing that, let's get to Little Chef, get some, you know, junk food in us. But the thing was, they're just about to put it in their mouth, and they saw me and Shona and Matt, and they looked so guilty, like, it's such a wonderful moment. So if you're going to do that, my advice is just go a little bit further. Just hang on, if you can. Go a little way and have someone at the door. Choose someone that say, oh, just check, you know, because Katrina and Andre, they might be heading back. You never know, the same way they might, you know. So we're just going to mix that in. Lovely. And that can you stir that one? Is that all right?
Put it on the gas.
Yeah, and I'm going to do, have you got time for one quick final thing? Have you got time? Are you all okay? Right, do you want to see how to make a salad more Ayurvedic? Yes. So I got this grated carrot here, which will be brilliant if you're pitta. You could just eat that. If you're really strong, not all of it, but you can like... Okay, so we're thinking about Joanna here, so we could use ghee, but we're not going to. We're going to use wonderful coconut oil. So I'm just going to show you this final thing. Beautiful coconut oil. Okay. Now you can get coconut oil, it comes in a bottle, because when it's made in India it's so hot that it's liquid, but you can't get it out of this. We had that, and it's like solid, it's like a rock. But you just put it in warm water and it dissolves quite easily. Or you can put it in your pocket and okay. So you've got the wonderful. So basically, how do we make, through Ayurveda, something fairly indigestible for definitely if you're Vata, into something wonderful Ayurvedic that we're all, you know, feel good about eating? Yeah, that'll do. I'm just going to heat that up. Now I need my mustard seeds again, which I've lost. Oh, that's a shame. Black mustard seeds. Here we go. Wonderful. Black mustard seeds again, because the black mustard seeds are going to add, they're a bit pungent. So they're going to add heat we're adding spicy heat and physical heat. So we just want them to crackle. Some lovely mustard seeds, okay? I think they're crackling already. Can you hear them? Something's happening. So we just let them crackle. It's good, isn't it? So that's the fatigue. I just have to find everything again now. So they're crackling away. Got the mustard seed, that's wonderful. Okay, then to that is we're going to add some ginger. So ginger is going to warm it up as well, spicy warm. Okay, that's good. Yeah. Is everything cooking in there all right? That sauce will need stirring, otherwise it might go. Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, sorry. So they're done. Add the ginger. Okay. Little bit of assafoetida. Going to add to it. Okay, that's going in. Okay, that's great. Right, okay, a little bit more ghee. So, oh no, sorry, coconut, gosh. Lucky you're there. Yeah, God, thank God Joanna was there. Can just, wouldn't that have been? Okay, great. So what we do now is, that's actually hot, isn't it? And it's got spices in it as well. Wonderful. So now we're not wanting to cook these carrots, so we're just sort of warming them through. So it's adding a beautiful warmth to it. So it's physically hot and it's all spicy hot. So okay, it's all getting a bit messy now, sorry, getting a bit vata here sort of suddenly. Then we're going to add a bit of salt to it as well. A little bit of salt. Oh, let's get that off. Because the salt is good for the vata as well. So you see what I'm doing? Adding salt to it. So I'm mitigating these carrots. Bit of pepper. Okay. Bit of coconut. That's soaked coconut. Is that alright? And then I'm just, it's like magic, isn't it? Just going to mix all that together, and the final thing I'm going to put with it is some lemon juice. If I did have the lemon earlier. Oh, there it is. It's like it's behind you, isn't it? And I got that as well, great. So if I put all the bits and bobs here. I got some wonderful chives I'm going to put in it.
Does it matter if it's gone cold after when you serve it? Does that matter?
Depends on the, because there's really, you know, we think of salad being cold, but it can be even better at body temperature, which isn't far much different from what you'd eat hot food at. You know, so hot foods maybe you eat at 40 degrees, I don't know. You know, it's nowhere near boiling when you eat hot food. But cold food could be over 30 degrees, so it depends on the temperature of the room. So sometimes before I make a salad, I actually soak my vegetables in the warm water or something. You know, I leave them to soak, you know, and then warm them up. I do that when I'm juicing as well, because I don't want it cold. And I put ginger in it. So we're going to put lemon in this as well, which is wonderful. And then we're nearly finished. So you've done well, folks. I've hoped you've learned something. But if you're in doubt, just the spice mix. Keep that. You should have like a, you know, like Batman has a utility belt. You can have that with, you know, spice mix. sort of, just in case you're anywhere, if you go to dinner, someone can go, doesn't look very Ayurvedic. As soon as they go out the room, you can sprinkle that on and put a bit on theirs. They need it as well. You can do it with your family. You know, if your husband's too pitta, you can get the pitta spice mix. Just put it on. Go, he needs it. Right. So basically, it's good, isn't it? God, I deserve a little treat now. Right, okay. Thing is, if you do happen to eat something that isn't that Ayurvedic, really like chocolate, but actually chocolate now, you know, it's come back into the health arena. Like cocoa, it's another superfood now. So if you get really good quality chocolate, it can be like quite which is good news. Yeah, but if you're having it, you don't need much. Just really enjoy it. Like we had that fruit. So if you have a piece of really good quality chocolate, you know, just really enjoy the whole experience. It lasts you another 10 minutes or so till the next whatever. So okay, so here it is. I've done this. This is your future in your hands, sort of thing. And you know, we really want a long life, isn't it? Hopefully, you know. And then what the limbs of that, we talked about food and herbs, isn't it? And also how you cook it, how you eat it. Your lifestyle. This is just things you can, we're hoping from this weekend, you know, there's things you can just, wasn't just to learn about it academically, it's something you can just magically put in your life. So we got, you know, the things, your daily routine that you're going to do anyway. You know, yoga and Ayurveda are so intimately linked. You know, grew up, it is part of Ayurveda really, yoga. Yoga is designed. It was designed in the beginning to balance your constitution. Getting into nature. Like I said, even if you just got a flower pot in your house, you know, a plant, house plant. But it's so wonderful, and to feel really good about it, that you're in nature and really appreciate it. And of course your therapies and massage. And all those things together, you can really take a hold on it. So, okay, that's, I finished now.